Hi, I'm Richard McPherson. I'm the Chief Instructor at Let's Ride Motorcycle Training, and in this lesson I'm going to show you the Module 1 Slow Ride to U-Turn exercise. Okay, so you've just completed your slalom and figure of 8 and you've pulled up next to the examiner, and the examiner will then ask you to divert your attention to the box of blue cones which will be directly in front of you at this point. Now in front of those blue cones there'll be two solid white lines which are 10 meters long and 7.5 meters apart. So again, these are two exercises which they kind of join together, but the first part of it is the slow riding exercise. So it'll ask you to ride slowly as if you're in slow moving traffic, and again, don't make this massively difficult. So just keep an eye on your speedo and don't go above 6 miles per hour. So the control for this one, pretty much exactly what we've been doing for like the slalom and figure of 8. So a little bit of throttle, a little bit of clutch, a bit of foot brake as well if you find yourself going a little bit quick. So we're going to get the engine running into gear and we do the observations, and then off we go. Keep an eye on that speedo, don't go above 6, then we stop with our front wheel right smack in the middle of the box of blue cones which is directly in front of us. So let's do it now. So get the engine running, into gear, and what do? Yep, good, check, over both shoulders, a little bit of throttle, a little bit of clutch, a bit about braking it well if you want to, and off we go. Keep an eye on the speedo. So I'm just keeping the speed to below 6, and then just a nice smooth stop with my front wheel in the box of blue cones here. Put the bike into neutral. Now he may get you to kill the engine at this point to explain the next exercise, so I will do that. Now ahead of you, you'll have two solid white lines, as I mentioned earlier, 10 meters long, 7.5 meters apart, which represent the curb of a road, and you're going to be doing a U-turn between the two sides of our road here. Now something that's worth bearing in mind here is you can touch the white lines, you just can't cross them, which is a little bit curious because if it was a real curb and you hit it, you'd be off. But hey ho, we'll take that. So don't panic if you graze that white line either on this side or on the opposite side. Don't worry, you're fine. It's only if you cross it. So if one of these tyres crosses that line, then that's a fail. Or if you lose your balance as you go around and it's a heavy foot down, that's also a fail. So it's reasonably tricky. As I said earlier, I think the slalom figure 8 is probably the trickiest exercise, but this one can be a little bit tricky for people. It's all about where you look, really. This goes all the way back to your CBT, where you were taught, hopefully, to turn your head and look where you want to go. If you do that, you'll instinctively turn and lean the bike and bring it round. And in terms of control of the bike, exactly the same as what we've been doing with the slow ride, with the slalom, everything. So bit of throttle, bit of clutch, foot brake if you need it, and around we go. So once he's finished his briefing on the U-turn, again, take your time, just visualize what you're going to be doing, deep breath, and then do it. So let's do it now. Now before we set off here, there is a critical observation on this exercise. So all the other exercises on the test, we just begin each one with a all-round observation. But this one, there's an additional observation which you were taught on your CBT, which carries through to this exercise. And that is the lifesaver before we commit to the turn. And this is the only critical observation on the test. If you forget this one, you will fail the test. All these other ones that we'll be doing before we pull away, if you forget one of those, it's just a minor fault, so not the end of the world. But on this one, not only do we begin with the all-round observations, we must do that lifesaver glance before we commit to the turn. Okay, here we go. So engine running, into gear, have a good look over both shoulders. So we go forward just to get the balance sorted out, keep your arms relaxed. When you're ready, lifesaver, turn the head, turn the bars, bit of drive, bit of lean angle, bit of back brake if you need it, keep a bit of drive going, straighten the bike up, bit of back brake, clutch in and stop. Okay, let's do that again. So look over both shoulders, yeah, all good. Bit of forward speed, keep your arms relaxed, keep the drive going, and then lifesaver, turn that head, turn the bars, bit of drive, bit of lean, bit of back brake, keep the drive going, straighten the bars up, throttle down, clutch in, back brake, and stop. So check, check, forward, get your balance sorted out, keep your arms relaxed, lifesaver, turn the head, turn the bars, bit of lean, bit of drive, straighten the bike up and stop. So check over both shoulders, forward, get your balance, keep your arms relaxed, lifesaver look, turn your head, turn the bars, bit of drive, bit of lean, bit of back brake, keep a bit of drive going, straighten the bike up, throttle off, clutch in, and bit of back brake and stop. Okay, so let's talk about this lifesaver. Now, you don't want to do it just as you turn. Now remember, the whole point of a lifesaver in the real world is to stop you carrying out a maneuver if someone's overtaking you. So not only is it too late here, but the problem with doing it as you're about to turn, it just causes the whole bike just to rock. And the danger now is if you do this much twisting of your body as you're doing the lifesaver, this front wheel could just come over here and just cross this white line, which is a fail. So keep the arms nice and relaxed. So when you're doing that lifesaver, if you're all tense, when you do that lifesaver, your body twists, the steering does this, and that's when you can cross the line. And it looks really messy as well. You could even get a fault for bike control, although that would be a bit harsh. So do the lifesaver reasonably early. It's probably about halfway down the lines here. So we'll do the regular observations before we pull away. We go forward, keep your arms as relaxed as you can, bit of momentum. We're about halfway, do the lifesaver glance, and then just don't turn straight away, continue down. So you've got your balance sorted out, then turn your head to look where you want to go, turn the bars, bit of drive, bit of lean angle, bit of back brake if you need it, and we straighten the bars up, throttle it down, clutches in, bit of back brake, and stop. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the slow ride and U-turn exercise. And as I mentioned earlier, it's probably the second toughest exercise. I think the slalom figure of 8 is probably the one which trips up the most people. But the U-turn can be quite tricky. It all depends what you're doing with your head. If you're someone who just rides with their head forward, eyes forward and down, you can't really see where you need to turn, then you're going to end up going wide and crossing that white line. And a common mistake is you end up going wide, you panic, and you hit the front brake and the bike will topple and you'll have to put your foot down. So it's all about where you're looking. So when you're ready to turn, get that head turned, look where you want to end up. So when I'm turning here, I'm looking all the way up that other white line to that very end cone, or the end of the line on the test. So I'm looking, turning that head, keeping a bit of drive. I'm not coasting the bike. If I need to slow down, I use a bit of foot brake and around I go. So it is an exercise on the training day that you'll do over and over and over and over again until you get it absolutely spot on. Okay, that's it for the slow ride and U-turn.